John, I'm going to start by asking, of course, this is based on a Peter Dexter novel, and I was just wondering how you came to be aware of this piece of literature, and was it an instant sort of idea to potentially make it into a movie?
I read Paris Trout, Pete Dexter's one of his other later novels, and then loved that and found my way to God's Pocket, which is his first book. And I did immediately. I closed the book and thought, this is a film. And I tried to get the rights to it and was told no, someone else had it. And I don't even know why I tried to get the rights, because I'd never directed anything. But I just saw it clearly as a film, and then over the years I started writing it without the rights, and then ended up getting the rights to do it. And by that time I had started directing, and then I'd finished, I think, 5 Mad Men's, and thought the next logical step would be to try to get this made. And by that time I had a screenplay written, and I sent it to Phil Hoffman, and he said yes.
And was it always your intention one day to get into feature film directing? Was that the idea?
It was a pretty sketchy idea, but once I had directed several episodes of the TV show, I felt like more confident that I could do it. You know, it's almost, you know, it's daunting thinking about it. You know, imagining doing something can be more daunting than actually giving it a try. So once I did that, I was confident that I could do this.
And of course, you've directed yourself before. Were you ever tempted to give yourself a cheeky little role in God's Pocket?
You know, not really, because the one part, the journalist Richard Jenkins part, was, I was asked, you know, is that what are you gonna play that part? And I thought, I don't want to do that to myself the first time out. I don't know how, you know, Ben Affleck does it. I'm amazed, you know. I'd like to try it sometimes, but you have to build that into the schedule, because it takes almost twice as long. You know, you watch a scene, you have to go out, you shoot the scene, go out of the room, look at it on a monitor, and, you know, it takes a lot more time. But in the right circumstance, I'd like to do it, yeah.
In terms of, you know, obviously as a feature film debut, in terms of making it an easier experience for you, I mean, to have a cast like this, I mean, Richard Jenkins, as you've mentioned, Philip Seymour Hoffman, of course, I mean, it must have been just a joy to direct actors of that ilk.
It really was. I mean, you don't have to direct actors like this very much. I mean, you sort of get them close, build the world around them, give them the right clothes, cars, people to work with, and then turn on the camera. You know, and then make a series of adjustments, you know, I mean, just to give yourself options, because they'll think of everything. I mean, you know, John Turturro's directed 5 films, I think maybe 5 or 6 of his own, so he'll offer you things that you didn't think you even needed. And Phil Hoffman, you know, I mean, it's hard to imagine anyone more emotionally and technically adept at the same time. He was, you know, I constantly shake my head. He'd walk out of the room and I'd think, well, I don't know anyone else that could do that.
So, I mean, there is something quite emotional to God's Pocket already, but I think that there's inevitably it's become more emotional given Philip's kind of passing, of course.
Yeah.
Have you watched the movie since, and has it been quite a difficult experience for you to do that?
Have I watched the movie since? I think I did. I watched it once for sort of a technical, you know, to a check. It is not the experience I hoped it would be. I hoped that Phil would be here sitting next to me talking about it as well. He was a big fan of this film. He produced it as well. Yeah, it changed everything. I mean, it took on. It turned the experience into something that it wasn't meant to be, and I'm sad for that. Yeah.
Of course, not only is the film sort of emotional, but it's quite morbid, quite uncomfortable at times. And there's a really bleak, gritty atmosphere. I think I said if you put your hand into God's pocket, you come out of a fistful of dirt. I was just wondering how you went about creating that atmosphere. Was that all done in kind of post-production, or was there a kind of feel for it on set?
No, there was a definite feel for it on set. The first day of shooting was Phil and Eddie Marsan in the scene where he slaps him in the face, and and the coffin lid falls down, which was an accident. They were rehearsing it, and that happened, and I thought that would be really funny if that happened. And I had someone go behind the thing and push it down. I just thought that they were open to those kinds of accidents, and all these actors had a feel for what the world of the film was, and that we had the right locations, and you put all those people together, and it's hard for it not to come out well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's
You're
much
welcome.
appreciated.